Who is that?
Here we are, the site of a double homicide that took the lives of 2 teen girls at the hands of a murderer believed to reside in the town, hiding in plain sight. Little was known until an arrest in October of 2022 revealed the name: Richard Matthew Allen, suspect number 1. We've already gone over the murders ad nauseum and explored all the possible motives one could think of. Not that any murder is exactly normal or average when it comes to reasoning, but some are more likely to be motives than others. To get some answers, we will have to explore the mind of someone who is a little bit off. Not off enough that it's apparent, just off enough in hindsight that their behaviors and red flags become readily exposed. Remember, this man kissed his wife goodbye before work, drove the same streets that his victims did. He likely took part in the searches for the girls and assisted police where he could. There was also a hidden and dark side of him, itching at times to get out and show its ugly face. A side of him that he would have undoubtedly teased every once in a while by visiting the bridge or the roads he used to escape, or by keeping trophies of that day. Possibly even making trophies. So what kind of killer is this guy? To understand, let's examine what the FBI behavioral analysis team would likely see when they examine the circumstances of the crime. If the facts of the case wind up pointing to the girls being catfished to the bridge, and that still has not been ruled out, then according to them, we have a planned and organized event, not simply an opportunistic crime. The same goes for if there are more than one individual involved. Any amount of pre-planning makes this an organized crime. The killer's use of the bridge ensured that he had control over several factors during the crime. A, his line of sight. B, the way of motion for his victims. And C, a place dangerous and secluded enough that he could control his victims. The use of brandishing a firearm was simply a mechanism of fear and power, something the FBI would have also listed his type as Doug Carter did say that he knew that this was about power to him. In these sorts of crimes, fear is important. Confusion for the victim is important. Swift action and typically a calm voice is also important to these perpetrators. The suspect barely ever loses control of his victims. The period between the abduction and the murder is the most precarious position in the timeline. During this time, he could be spotted by others, the victims could run, or even fight back. Control is the most important factor to the suspect, controlling the victims and the scene. This should always be the point when you attempt to escape if you're ever abducted. Your life depends on it. I often wonder what Richard Allen's wife knows. I wonder if she remembers things from that day, or from their marriage, that just makes this look even more coincidentally bad for him. The walking across the creek thing is an obstacle for me. Why do this? What was his plan? The cold water set him at a disadvantage and can only really mean that the girls likely attempted to flee him. Unless Logan's Land was always the spot he was taking them. Write what you think below. We do know that once he was on Logan's Land, trophies were taken from one of the girls. A pair of underwear and a sock. The girls were also stripped nude, likely at gunpoint. The bodies were moved and staged in the direct vicinity of their deaths. Why? Unfortunately, these are questions that will not be answered until the trial. In the PCA, a witness driving down West 300 North saw a man covered in mud and blood walking west towards the CPS lot. Maybe things went south during the control stage of the crime. But if it wasn't planned, why park the way he did, shielding his license plate from onlookers? I must admit, a lot fits Richard Allen. Questions to ask ourselves. 1. Did he know Ron Logan? 2. Does the Anthony Shots profile carry bearing in why the girls went to the bridge that day? 3. Why did it take until now for Richard Allen's name to come up? 4. Was this an act of fantasy for a psychopath or an act of opportunity? Comment below and like this video if you believe that Richard Allen is the bridge guy.